Hi, this is Jenny Brav of Radiant Wholeness Healing, and today we're exploring spiritual cycles of death and rebirth, which is basically just a way of talking about periods of transition, change, when some old way of being is ready to die off, slough off, in order to make room for something new. And often that actually creates an internal tension between the parts that are ready to move forward and the parts that are hanging on or scared or attached to the old ways. And often the death part of the cycle is much more painful and uncomfortable than the rebirth part. And so there's a lot of resistance to it and also a lot of lack of understanding. I think often when we're in those cycles, it feels like we're doing something wrong or something is terribly wrong and needs to be fixed, when really it's more that we're being guided to surrender, to listen, to let go, which can be terrifying, especially if we're not really sure what's happening. And different indicators of a death rebirth cycle can be a sense of a crisis. So it can be a physical crisis, a crisis in our relationship. It can be a health crisis. It can be just a crisis in our values. And that's when it's acute, and that can lead to anxiety, agitation, anything like that. Another indicator of a death rebirth that might not be as obvious, but is just a subtle sense of something not quite being right. We're doing the same things we've always done, but it doesn't feel quite right. And that could show up again in a situation we're in. It could show up in our business wanting to be different or change, or something just not feeling as fulfilling, or in our job, our work, our relationship, our home. It could be in a pattern or a belief or something we've always done a certain way, in a hobby, something we're passionate about. It could show up as a block, an artistic block if we're creative, a sense of heaviness, of stuckness. Those are all indicators. Also just feeling really tired, unmotivated, wanting to check out. Those are all possible indicators that something old is wanting to die, something new is wanting to have space to come forward. So I invite you to close your eyes, and assuming that you chose this video because you feel like this is where you might be at, I invite you to feel into this sense of something old that some part of you is ready to let go of, even if other parts are hanging on and resisting. And just notice what that feels like in your body, where you feel the part that's ready to let go, maybe where you feel the parts that are hanging on. Noticing any emotions that are present around this. There might be fear, frustration, or confusion, resistance, helplessness, whatever's here. And if there's resistance, if there's hanging on, noticing what those parts might be afraid of. What might happen if you let go? If you make space. And then noticing, asking yourself, and just seeing whatever pops into your head. What's wanting to come through? what no longer serves me. And when you're ready, if you want, you can open your eyes or keeping them closed. And you're going to tap where I'm tapping and repeat after me, although feel free to modify the words to suit what feels true for you. I'm tapping on the side of the hand. Even though it feels like something old wants to die. And part of me is ready to let go. Make room for the new. And part of me is terrified, resisting, grieving, feeling a little lost. I'm open to loving and accepting myself deeply and completely. Even with all of this, tapping on your head. Part of me is so ready to let go. Of this situation outside of the eyes, of this old pattern under the eyes, of this belief. Deep breath. Tapping under and above your lips. So ready to let go. Under the collarbone. And name out loud what it is you're ready to let go of. Again, it could be a situation. It could just be a belief, a habit. Middle of the sternum. Ribs. So ready to let go. Side of the body. Because I know it no longer serves me. Inside and outside of the wrist. Other wrist. And part of me is terrified. Head. High part of me that is so scared. Inside of the eyebrows. I see you. Outside of the eyes. I feel you. Under the eyes. I know you're scared. Under and above the lips. It's okay to be scared. Under the collarbone. And it's possible we can do this at your pace. Middle of the sternum. There is no rush. Breathe. Ribs, high fear. This is all so new. Side of the body. High grief. Inside and outside of the wrist. Of course you're here. Other wrist. An old part of me is dying. Over the head. And just because that might be something I'm wanting, inside of the eyebrows, it's making room for something new. Outside the eyes, doesn't mean I'm not going to feel sad. Under the eyes, and I can give as much space to my grief as I need. Under and above the lips. Hello, part of me that's resisting. Under the collarbone. I see you. I feel you. Middle of the sternum. Hi, young self. Ribs. Thank you so much for developing this pattern. Side of the body, this belief. Inside and outside of the wrist, this way of being in the world. Other wrist, following the rules. Or rebelling. Inside of the eyebrows. That's exactly what you had to do at the time. Outside of the eyes. And we can hold on to this as long as you need to. Under the eyes. And it's possible that we don't need to anymore. Under and above the lips. Because our circumstances have changed. Under the collarbone. And I have so many resources you didn't have. Middle of the sternum. And part of us is so ready for the upgrade. Ribs, to step more fully into ourselves. Side of the body, be more visible. Inside and outside of the wrist, more whole. Other wrist. And considering all the messages we received. All over the head, that can be really scary. Inside of the eyebrows. And it's possible that what is happening for us. Outside of the eyes, not to us. Under the eyes, not against us. Under and above the lips, breathe. Under the collarbone, high darkness. Sternum, heaviness. Ribs. High part that interprets this as wrong or bad. Side of the body to be avoided. Inside and outside of the wrist. And it's possible it's just one of the cycles. Other wrist, like winter. Head, days getting shorter. Inside of the eyebrows, it's possible it can't be spring all the time. Outside of the eyes, that there's no spring without winter. Under the eyes, it's possible we can hang out in the winter cycle. Under and above the lips, let things die off. Under the collarbone, and trust. Middle of the sternum, that it's going to be okay. Ribs that were guided. Good, take a deep breath. And you can pause in your tapping. Close your eyes if they're open. And just checking in with your inner landscape in this moment. Just noticing how that feels. And sending compassion, love, empathy for whatever is starting to release, whatever you're letting go of, whatever part of that process you're in. It might be the very beginning of the death stage, might be the middle, might be the end. You can also think of this as a chrysalis phase. All the caterpillar parts are dissolving into goop. And the butterfly parts might have started forming or not. Just asking some part of yourself, just trusting that an answer will come in some form. What is wanting to come through? And what is no longer serving me? And just noticing anything that comes up for you, any images of either part, either the no longer serving part or the coming through part. If you're feeling like you're in the middle of a crisis, you can also ask, what am I learning through this? Perhaps calling forth a future self who's already on the rebirth part of the cycle. And if one shows up, just asking this future version of you if they have any message for you, anything to show you, any encouragement. Anything that might be helpful to be able to get through the death phase with grace. Or a reminder of what's waiting on the other side, an indicator. And whatever's coming up for you, just thanking your soul, yourself for being here, any messages you received. And when you're ready, opening your eyes and tapping all over your body, shaking it out, touching something, grounding. And thank you so much for being here with me. If you're interested in knowing more about my work, my website is www.radiantwholenesshealing.com. and all the links are below. You can also set up a 30-minute consultation if you want to know more about my work for free. And of course, feel free to comment below. I'd be really curious to know how this went for you, and like and subscribe. All right, thank you so much.